Hello. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Alice and I've been studying financial freedom for the past 10 years. Professionally speaking, I am a chartered professional accountant.
Even though I am the least typical accountant that you may ever meet.
In this video, I want to give you a plan for financial freedom, and I hope that you can carry this with you no matter where you go. Do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button, and let's get right into it. Step 1. Everyone has a different definition of financial freedom. Most people's definition, I think, of financial freedom is to quit their job. I think there's different degrees of financial freedom. I don't think it's black and white, and I think there's stages. So it could be just not worrying about money on a day-to-day basis, to getting out of debt, to making 10K a month, to making 100K a month. Or it could just be like maybe you work on a part-time basis and you consult on a part-time basis because you enjoy staying busy and you have something to do, but it's not something you're forced to do. Now, the textbook definition of financial freedom is when you can live off of the income from your investments. Let's say that you need $3,000 a month in passive income after tax to cover all of your food and your living expenses, and you're able to achieve this with investments. Well, you technically don't need to work a job anymore. So I actually made a video a while back about how much money you need to live off of dividend income forever. And in that video, I concluded that it's about the size of a house in North America. I think it was about 800 to 900 grand. So link up top if you haven't watched that video before. Financial freedom could also mean just being debt-free and not living with day-to-day anxiety about money or having to worry about having enough money. Now, one thing that I've realized about myself is that I'm not really the type of person that wants to retire young and go hang out and chill on a beach. I will literally go crazy. I think money makes me more ambitious and it makes me want to work harder for more money. This is my inner nature. 70% of Americans, and I'm going to assume probably Canadians as well, live paycheck to paycheck. I've mentioned this before, but you can make $200,000 a year and spend $200,000 a year, because living paycheck to paycheck has nothing to do with income or where you went to school or how educated you are. Living paycheck to paycheck is a financial habit that you picked up from your parents. So if you grew up in an environment where money was tight or your parents identified as struggling financially, what happens is that these patterns, they get passed down onto children, subconsciously or consciously. Many people have limiting beliefs about money and about themselves that straight up came from their parents. Like, you can't do this, you can't spend that, we can't have this, that's too expensive. Those sorts of thoughts and beliefs, that sort of self-talk in your head comes from your parents and the environment in which you're raised. So cleaning up your finances, being better financially, getting out of paycheck to paycheck mode, it could be paying off debts, learning how to live frugally and minimally, learning how to disassociate spending from pleasure, and making sure that you overall keep your living situation and expenses in check first. If your biggest financial problem right now is making ends meet, I would focus on figuring out that first, okay? Whether it's paying off debts or saving up your first 10K or saving up your first 100K or earning more at the position that you're in and advancing yourself in career, I would just focus on that as the thing that you do first. Because if you don't know how to manage money, you will never be financially free in this lifetime, irregardless of income. A lot of people say that they want to start a business and they want to be financially free, and that's an amazing goal to have. In order to run a successful business, you have to be even smarter with money, learning how to deal with cash flow uncertainty. All of your problems now have more zeros. Paying yourself. Actually, you don't even get to pay yourself first. You have to pay your employees first, right? You have a business credit card that racks up every month that you have to manage on top of your living expenses. For example, in the startup world, as a CFO or as a finance leader, you need to be able to set rules around how many months of cash runway are we going to keep? How are we going to allocate capital? How much debt are we comfortable with taking on? How are we going to hire and allocate funds for human capital? What projects are we going to allocate excess cash reserves to, if you have any? And so if you don't know how to have a grasp on these things at the individual personal level, what happens is that even if you do have a business and you win in business, you're probably going to end up being a slave to your business because of this insane lifestyle that you've created that needs to be fed. Now let's talk about the next step, which is building up your cash reserves. In order to be financially free, we need to build up our cash reserves and ideally invest that cash into assets. I think that saving at least 1 year of expenses all in, or what people call an emergency fund that's completely liquid, is always a good starting point. Building up cash reserves, saving money, is this period of life that is very boring. And you almost feel like you don't get to move your life forward. When I was in my 20s, I was saving money. I was learning through my way working in corporate. And I remember thinking to myself all the time, man, my life is so boring. This isn't really the end state of my life. This isn't what I'm going to do forever. I can't really do anything or go anywhere because I'm always trying to save money. So what I actually did in the meantime was I read a lot of books. So I read all of those self-development and money books, like every single one of them. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Secret, Think and Grow Rich, Mindset of a Millionaire, 10X Rule, Outwitting the Devil. If you go onto Amazon and you just filter under personal finance or filter under self-development and just start reading them all by highest reviewed, these books will change your life. A couple of these books will change the way that you see things. And if you learn the language of money through these books and you learn how rich people think and you watch videos like this and of other influencers, it will really start reshaping the way that you think and the way that you see the world and help you get closer to financial freedom. So the number one thing when it comes to financial freedom is not investing. It's income. Income is the only thing that's going to change your life. If you invest $10,000, that $10,000 is going to be $12,000 in 2 years. If you invest $100,000, it's going to be $120,000 in 2 years. That's not really financial freedom. That's market returns. And if everyone can get these market returns, then you're really not getting yourself ahead by doing this. Now, for myself personally, all the money that I made from investing is from longer term horizon. I bought a bunch of stocks during COVID. Actually, the day that everything crashed, I went and bought a whole bunch of stocks and I made a ton of money off these stocks because the price was really low at the time. And I sold them all eventually and kind of held cash for a little bit because I feel like the market's kind of high right now. And so I feel like cash could be put better into business or real estate at the moment. And by the way, this is not investing advice for anyone. This is just Alice thinking out loud. Goal of investing is to buy low and to sell high. It's to buy when everyone else is selling and to sell when everyone else is buying. I have personally made no money sitting here and obsessing over stocks every single day based on stock advice that I found online. I have personally made no money buying stocks that other people have given me advice for. For me, I just follow a lot of repeatable patterns of what I saw other wealthy people do when I was a CPA. I just basically bought what they bought and I mimicked their behavior because I only take advice from people who have what I want in life. And so I'm not disparaging investing, and I do talk a little bit about investing in my channel, and all of the things that I teach are things that I know are what wealthy people do. So I think it's good to invest money, but if your income is too low, investing cannot save you. Passive income math only works once you have a pretty significant amount of capital. At the point where your wealth makes you so much money, but it does not work at the $10,000 level or the $100,000 level. Saving your way there with salary is going to take way longer and way more sacrifice. Like even people who buy investment properties, the first 5 years is almost all interest anyways. Imagine if you committed 5 years working full-time towards learning how to sell, how to market, learning how to create content, you're going to be light years ahead than any sort of investment property. And, I see people making videos about day trading and passive income strategies from people claiming to teach you how to be rich. Disclaimer, personally, not that they don't exist, never met somebody who is really wealthy as a day trader, okay, or really wealthy as a day crypto trader or rich passive income investor or the stuff that you see online. I see these random YouTube videos popping up all the time. What I've noticed is that a lot of people who talk about these sorts of strategies and gimmicks and sort of stuff, I've noticed that a lot of them over a longer term horizon are basically still exactly where they started. All people that I've seen who have created wealth and changed their life dramatically have done it through business. Once you learn how to sell market stuff, which is made much easier and more accessible nowadays to people because of social media and content, and you learn how to actually make money in this world, you're going to really change the way that you see things, and you're going to wonder what you've been doing your whole life, just sitting around waiting for a paycheck to hit your bank account every 2 weeks. Now let's talk about creating momentum. Because once you've set your goal is, let's say that your goal is to hit $10,000 a month, right? Which is like an executive salary in Canada. Then you want to set step-by-step action items, right? Reverse engineer your goals. So it's what courses do you need to take to get there? How many social media posts do you need to get there? If you reverse engineer your goals into action steps, you put it onto your calendar, set an alarm in the morning, wake up and get that stuff done. My drink of choice in the morning is a tall Pike Place coffee in a grande cup from Starbucks. I always get it in a grande cup so it does not spill while I'm driving. And I get this after I drop my kid off at school. It's got 300 milligrams of caffeine. I chug it and I go. It's not just about getting things done. It's also about building momentum, building enough momentum day after day with all the things that you do to realize the fruits of your labor. Momentum is huge. And momentum is also something that can be wiped out very quickly if you get distracted. Now, whenever I set goals for myself, I always tell myself that I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. Now, I am a very logical and practical person, and I can hang out in a spreadsheet all day long. But for me, when it comes to goal setting, I visualize and I manifest with my heart and my feelings. So I am extremely into manifestation and visualizing my dream life. So if I feel like I'm being unproductive or I'm mismanaging my time, sometimes I wake up and I feel very directionless, the goal writing really helps set me straight. I hung out in a corporate role that I hated for many years, not because of people, not because of money, not because of the work, because I just knew that deep down in my heart, it was not for me. I am just not someone that can exist in an employed state and be happy with my life. And so when I write down my goals and I put some music on that I like, what you're really trying to go after is the feeling. It's the feeling of happiness, the feeling of having achieved everything that you want in your life, and the feeling of having it all in every possible way. Now, sometimes you will write goals down and be working on them for many years and things don't happen as fast as you want, on the timeline you want, in the way that you want. This is where you have to trust the universe or whatever faith you choose to believe in with your heart. You know, there's a reason why they call it crabs in a bucket, and that's because it's real. And to counteract that, that's actually why we need community. I think one thing that has really changed my life is meeting the right people along the way and seeing them do well and seeing them achieve what they want, and then kind of using that as my mental role models. So if you are somebody who wants to live an amazing life, wants to have it all, and you want to be around someone else who's going to tell you that you can, then make sure you join my community. I think this is especially the case if you grew up in an environment where your parents had a very strong ideal of what success is and they try to project it onto you. It's not just Asian people. I also know non-Asian people who live under the shell of their parents' success too, right? Their parents had this career. They also had to follow in the same career. And so they have this like internal struggle of trying to not live under their parents' shadow anymore. If you like this video today, you're going to love my other video in my Accountant Explains series where I talk about how much money you should save by age. Make sure you check out that video. I think it's pretty comprehensive. I go into like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, how much to save by month, whether you have started saving money or you haven't saved money. So make sure you check out that video up top here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until next time.